check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Well, I've got some. Oh yeah, you saw it. You need it. I never found a hometown for Putnam. Just had USA.
USA. USA.
Yeah. Was from Illinois. Lamont, Illinois. And good evening and welcome to Edinburgh. We're at the southern tip of Texas to bring you exciting USL Championship soccer. Tonight's game will feature the Rio Grande Valley FC Toros against their division rival, the Real Monarchs. And how do you do? I'm Mark May with Brian Smith coming to you from beautiful HEB Park. This broadcast coming to you on ESPN+. And Brian, let's get started. Who are our players to watch for tonight?
Looking at host RGV Toros. Keep an eye on that man in goal. Tyler Derrick has been nothing short of spectacular for the Toros here in the early going. He's got 2 shutouts. In fact, the first 2 games of the season were shutouts for the Toros on the neck of him. But look at Elvis Samoa. He's going to be the real player to watch in this one. Had a brace early on against RGV's last opponent, Miami. Ended up with a hat trick, 3 goals in the second half to lead them to victory. So as he goes offensively, so go the Toros.
And player of the week as well for the whole league.
Out of the USL, just a spectacular forward coming into his own, as Coach Cabrera talked about midweek. And then for their opponent, keep your real close eye on Milan Iloski. He has been spectacular for them. Had a brace in their last time out. A big part of what was their first victory of the season as he came in and gave them a huge performance against Sacramento Republic. The thing to watch with him specifically is what a great job he does of transitioning from the midfield into the forward and even falling back defensively, filling a huge void for them across several spots out there on the pitch.
Only 21 years old, too.
It's another long run of spectacular young players we see here for Real Monarchs. Let's take a look also at your starting lineups presented by Reliant. Beginning with host RGV. Lineup's going to look a little something like this. In goal, the aforementioned Tyler Derrick. He's also joined by Louis Ramsey, Adrian Despay, and Eric Pimentel, all of them on the defensive backline. At the midfield,
And Ramsey making his first start tonight.
correct. In the midfield, Adrian Vetta, James Murphy, Juan Cusain, Rodrigo Lopez, and Christian Sorta. Lopez making the start as the captain. And then 2 forwards, John David Sanchez and Elvis Amo. Big start there for the Toros under head coach William Cabrera. Then looking over at the visiting Real Monarchs. Their lineup's going to look a little something like this. In goal, Andrew Putna. And then they've got 4 defenders, Ashtone Morgan, Kyle Adams, and Eric Holt. Noah Powder also making a start there. In the midfield, Ibrahim Banse, Justin Portillo, Milan Iloski, and Malik Johnson is the first forward. 3 forwards in this lineup. That'll be something to watch for Real Monarchs. Followed by Douglas Martinez and Mikel Chang. As you talked about, Mark, a lot of youth in this lineup for Real Monarchs. That's starting to really kind of click into place now, picking up their first win last time out, kind of find their identity out there on the pitch.
Yeah, indeed. They're just coming off their first win of the season just 3 nights ago. So the Monarchs probably feeling good about themselves as the Rio Grande Valley FC Toros undefeated at home, looking to keep that record perfect here tonight. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more USL Championship Soccer right after this.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow,
creating more jobs,
and more opportunities for all of us.
working together.
Together,
we do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And welcome back to HEB Park, just about set for kickoff. The Rio Grande Valley FC Toros are on your right. You see them right there in the blue jerseys with the orange numerals. They'll be kicking off. The Monarchs are wearing the white jerseys and white shorts here tonight. And very quickly, Brian, what are our keys for tonight's game?
Well, taking a look at host RGV, it's going to be all about getting that offensive started very quickly. You saw it in their last time out. Toros did pick up that 4-2 victory, but they had a really slow start in the first half, going down 2-0 early before that second half explosion. Now, don't get me wrong, we talked about this all week. This is a Toros team that scores in bunches in the second half, but if they can kind of put their style of play in motion in the first half, set the tone, get a goal or two, that'll go a long way toward giving this team the kind of confidence it takes to win a USL championship and maintain their stronghold on first place in the Mountain Division. And then looking at their opponents for Real Monarchs, you've got to build on that 2-1 victory last time out. You know that you belong. You know you could compete. Though you're young, you've shown the ability to really make some wonderful things happen. Can you be the team that comes down here and gives the Toros their first loss at home by setting the pace yourself with what you're doing with all that speed?
Well, the Monarchs come in ranked 6th in the division, 1-3 with 2 draws, just 5 points. But coming off that win, their first win of the year, I think they're the last team in the league to pick up a victory. Meanwhile, the Toros, 13 points. They're at the top of the Mountain Division with 4 wins, 1 loss, and a draw. Undefeated at home at 3-0. They're in first place right now. New Mexico and El Paso in 2nd and 3rd place. Close enough to possibly leapfrog the Toros in the standings tonight. They are both playing as well. So we'll keep an eye on those scores as we're underway here at HEB Park. And, you know, one of the players we were talking about before the game started, Brian, was for the Monarchs, who has some experience back with the Toros, and that's number 45, Kyle Adams.
Yeah, fans of the Toros are going to know Kyle Adams and know him quite well. He was a central part of what was a pretty good back line defensively for the Toros over the last 3 seasons. In fact, he spent his entire professional career prior to the start of this season as a member of the Toros, making a combined 61 starts as a member of the Toros across 3 seasons, now trying to kind of expand his professional career here against the Toros in his first season playing with Real Monarchs.
In fact, that's Adams right there who just sent the ball forward. And it's touched up all the way to Malik Johnson. It's a forward there, and he draws the foul there. This will be a free kick here for the Monarchs.
I like the effort early on here by the Monarchs, doing a nice job of kind of coming right into that midfield for the Toros and being aggressive, challenging on the ball, challenging on what they're doing offensively, continuing to just build and build and build. And I love to see that, because when you've got a young team stepping out for the first couple of games and trying to kind of get their position in the field, if they're aggressive, good things can happen, because it shows they're not afraid to step up in those key moments.
Saw a turnover there at the interception by Eric Pimentel, experienced defender for these Toros, and Toros have possession here at the moment. Here in the 3rd minute of play, both teams looking to try to set up an attack. And I imagine the Toros, if they can go after this team here early, they can really rock their confidence of the Monarchs. But as the game moves on and moves on with a tie score, I'm sure the Monarchs' confidence will build.
And if anything, if you're Real Monarchs, you've got nothing but positive things to think about coming into this one. You've picked up your first win. You've got that monkey off of your back. You're no longer the team that's still trying to struggle to find success. You've got success against a really good Sacramento Republic team. So being able to do that and then go on the road and come into a team here like the Toros, who have developed kind of an identity as a second-half team, and being able to say, well, if we can come out and make something strong happen in the first half, that could bode really well for our ability.
We saw the Toros tried a long pass intended for Christian Sortos, too far for him. Then on the goal kick there, the keeper, Putna, sandwiched the ball in between 2 Toros players. A little bit of a risky move, but the Monarchs were able to get out of it. As Johnson here, near the touchline, he'll send it into the center circle, and it looks like the Toros have themselves another turnover. It's James Murphy on the ball. Murphy out of New Jersey. And now it's sent back to the defensive line to Diaz Bay, who plays it over to the left side. Diaz Bay has had 2 incredible games as of late, his last 2 games. He's done really well with a number of clearances and interceptions.
And Diaz Bay is one of those players that won't necessarily fill up a stat sheet. He can get kind of lost in the flow of the game, but when you think about just what a great job he does of setting the tone for this Toros team in the midfield, doing a nice job of slipping forward to give some protection on that front line for the forwards, he doesn't necessarily pick up the kind of stats that he deserves with the level of play he brings.
There we see Coach Cabrera there on the sideline. This is his 2nd stint as head coach of the Toros. He was their head coach back in 2016 and came back aboard this season. And, of course, they made their only playoff trip back in 2016, and they're in a good position now, as we said, winning 4 of their first 6 with only 1 loss this season. And this is going to be played back all the way back to Tyler Derrick. Derrick, 32 years old, out of Houston. And Toros will build it back up again. Diaz Bay, I mentioned him a moment ago, and is against San Antonio FC 2 games ago, had 8 clearances, 4 interceptions, and 3 tackles. And then last Sunday against Miami, 5 clearances, 2 intercepts, and 1 tackle. So he has just been a force to be reckoned with on that back line for the Toros.
He had a big part in that second half for the Toros. Coach Cabrera talked about kind of what a game of mental gymnastics that last game was, going down 2-0 in the first half. And when we talked earlier in the week, one of the things he said was, as a coach, you look at that and you say, well, you know, what do you do with that? 2 balls get through. It's not as if you were playing poor defensively, although he did say he wished his team had a little more effort in those moments. But it got through, 2 quick goals. And some coaching staff, some teams may throw their hands up and say, well, you know, today's just not our day. We gave up 2 quick goals in the first half. But this team showed some real resiliency. And I would argue that Diaz Bay was probably one of the bigger keys in that, of coming out in the second half and really starting to lock down at midfield and say, there's nothing getting past me, there's nothing going over the top of me. We're going to take control of what's happening on the pitch right now. And then look at that. Elvis Amo had a huge second half, and the Toros picked up what might be one of those defining victories you look for in a championship quality team.
Indeed. In fact, we saw a wonderful note about that game. So we take a look at this replay. Good defending here by the midfielder John Henry Sanchez out of Tumaco, Colombia. Play that out. Now the Monarchs trying to work the ball into the penalty area. The Toros won't let them in. But yeah, looking at that Miami game, on the road, the Toros 2-0 down, come back to win 4-2. And they had a stat this week on the USL website that only 24 times in league history, and the league goes back 10, 11 years, as that happened where a visiting team, has scored 4 or more goals on another team's pitch. So it's a rare occurrence, very difficult to do.
And that hat trick by Elvis, just the second hat trick in team history. We talk about it, this has been a team that's had the ability to put up some goals and have some pretty aggressive offenses through the years. And so for him to come in and just the 5th game of the season to have an explosion like that really just shows his talent and the trust that Coach Cabrera has in him to leave him out there and allow him to really set the tone offensively.
And we saw the foul there committed by the Monarchs, so a free kick for the Toros here in the 8th minute. The Toros being patient here on the offense. They try to work this ball forward against the Monarchs. Both these teams in the same division, in the Mountain Division. And they're at opposite ends of the division right now. The Toros in 1st place and the Monarchs in 6th place out of the 7-team division. In the league power rankings, they're also at opposite ends. The Toros ranked 4th in the 31-team league, and Monarchs ranked last right now, although in fairness, that rankings came out before the Monarchs picked up their first win on Wednesday night. Here's a steal by Johnson. A little bit of an attack here. They get it ahead to the right flank. An opportunity here. Trying to center the ball is kicked forward. Here's a second chance. Trying to get a turnaround before it's finally cleared by Sorto. It's an opportunity for Ilyaski, who had the 2 goals on Wednesday night. Couldn't quite get turned around to fire away here as we take another look at it. So bringing it into the area was Chang. And then it got over to Ilyaski, but unable to quite get the turn. Sorto was there to clear it into safety.
That was a blue wave of defenders there by the Toros. A really nice job of getting back and not over pursuing on that ball. As Ilyaski turns around, it's nothing but blue kits all around him. Great job of closing off the angles.
This ball sent deep. No one running after it for the Monarchs, so the Toros will bring it back up. Toros went 3-0 at home to start the season. Great start for them. And then on their road trip, picked up 4 points in 3 games, which is not bad.
Not at all. And remember, this is Coach Cabrera talking about how this season he didn't really know what to expect from this team. He's still making roster changes, bringing guys in. Perfect example of that. We've got Louis Ramsey starting today. It's his first start for this team. So he's still making some pretty big adjustments with new additions. And to think that even with all those adjustments that are being made, all those technical decisions, the team is still finding success just really shows the caliber and talent of player the Toros have brought in.
DSP, a good job there to kick it away from Johnson. Then DSP kind of slapping the turf a little bit. He was hoping to be able to save that from going out to concede the corner kick. So this will be the first corner of the game for either team. Johnson will trot back over to, or DSP will trot back over to the, in front of the goal, next to Tyler Derrick.
First trip anyone's made to the True Fit corner on this evening. And nobody playing shallow right now for Real Monarchs, so they're going to send this one long.
I think this might be Portillo about to take the corner. It's going to swirl in a little bit, headed out by the Toros. And this will come up to Powder, trying to send it to the left side before that one's headed forward. A good job there by Vetta. So again, the Toro defense has come up big a couple of times now here in the opening 10 minutes.
They've been an extremely difficult team to score on here at HEB Park. This will be the 4th home game they've had of the season. They've only conceded 1 goal in the first 3 games, so this is not a place where opponents come in and put up a ton of points. Shows a lot of confidence you've got on that back line. DSP, of course, playing a big part of that. You see Murphy coming forward to apply some pressure at midfield as well.
Yeah, in fact, the Toros, now that I think about it, have not trailed at home this season. So, yeah, defensively, they have been very steely here at HEB Park. Ball played back to the defender, Louis Ramsey, who's the new signee. We mentioned him a moment ago, 23 years old. out of the United Kingdom. Now let's go over to the right side. So Ramsey will play it back. Got that to Sorto. Now Ramsey with it. Ramsey is dispossessed.
That's a really good job defensively there by Toros. You see kind of falling back quite quickly there was Diaz-Pay. He had Murphy right to his left. So all he has to do is intercept that and then just tap it off. And that breaks up what looked like a pretty good attack that was developing there for the Monarchs.
And there you see the Toros will win a free kick here. This is going to be a foul called against Ibrahim Banse, a midfielder. As we take a look at this, he tripped over Veta. And the call made by the referee tonight, who is Mr. Matt Thompson. So the Toros with a free kick just inside the Monarchs' half. And they play this forward. Monarchs kind of bunching over on that right side a little bit. And the Toros reversing the action here quickly, trying to get some numbers to the right side. This is Sorto with it. Sorto has a goal and an assist this season. We'll send it back, and Pimentel will shift again to the left side. So the Toros quickly shifting the attack. They try the right and the left, testing the flanks here of the Monarchs. Ramsey, a nice little volley forward. But the Monarchs get possession of it and send a dangerous ball back to the keeper. He can't use his hands there. And a nice job there by Putna. Well, they put Putna in a troublesome spot there, didn't he?
And you saw Elvis Samoa's eyes got about as big as soccer balls as that went over the top. Because as you said, Putna can't touch that. And look at Elvis just immediately attacking, forcing Putna to clear that one away.
Yeah, Amo, the leading goal scorer for the Toros, with 4 goals this season, coming off that hat trick, and of course USL Player of the Week. There, the Monarchs forced to clear once again. The Toros pressing the attack here, just kind of ratcheting up the pressure, just a little bit at a time.
You have to wonder with a player like Amo, when you picked up a hat trick your last time out and you see something like that developing in front of you, got to give it a little extra hitch in your step, doesn't it? Get right after that and attack.
Johnson intercepts here for the Monarchs. That's played back. This is Adams with it, former Toro, just exchanging passes. And now he'll try the over on the left, Ashton Morgan, who's a Canadian, will send it inside to Banse. Trying to get it forward here. Here's Ilaski. Ilaski lob it over to the right. No one there though, and this will go back to the Toros.
It looked like Ilaski's vision was kind of cut off there for just a moment by Rodrigo Lopez, so he was just trying to kind of loft that over into a dead spot and allow one of his teammates to push forward. Nobody there to receive though.
Saw a couple of shots on the sideline of the Monarchs coach, Mr. Jameson Olave, watching this game. And you know, the Monarchs, they're not a team that's afraid to mix up their lineup, are they? Even bringing up a lot of young players, don't they?
That was one of the things that media relations for Real Monarchs talked about coming into this season, in this game specifically, is they're doing a nice job of transitioning guys off of their the Salt Lake City roster, guys out of their academy, just kind of mixing in a lot of youth with the experienced players they have to see who can bring this team a punch. And if you look at that Sacramento game as any testament to what they can do, bright future ahead for Real Monarchs, especially as you continue to give those young players top-level experience in competition. They're only going to continue to get better and better.
Saw a close-up of the Toros' Juan Kuzain there a moment ago. Has 1 goal this season for the Toros. He's from Illinois. And yeah, the Monarchs, they have a couple of really young players, a couple of 17-year-olds that they've signed recently.
It's a thing really of mastery to watch, their ability to pick up some of this young talent and then transition it into top-level experience. And one of the things that jumps out, first couple of games of the season, Jeff Dusnup started for them in goal. 16 years old for some of those games, just turned 17 back in mid-May. Outside of that, Jimmy Slayton, the other keeper, is quite young. Giselle Orozco played some significant time at quite a young age. Daniel Flores, not 18 for very long now, has already played some serious minutes for them.
Yeah, Flores just 18 and Orozco 17, both defenders. So some serious youth on this team. As Adams clears this ball up, but not quite out of danger. Kind of a head tennis going on right now between the two. And the ball squeezes free for the Toros. Chance now as the captain, Lopez, will send it over to the left. That's Veta there. As Sanchez to his left. And Sanchez trying to get control now, and does. He'll send it into the area. And a little bit too far. Sorto was there, but unable to get up on it.
One final point about the youth that Real Monarchs has been able to bring into this roster. There are 7 different players on this Real Monarchs roster under the age of 20. 7 players under the age of 20.
Throw in there by Ramsey. Trying to get it up to Amo, but the defense of the Monarchs knocking the ball down. And now here's Adams. Clear it up the field.
That's just a spectacular job by Martinez of turning that angle and getting himself upfield quickly, applying some pressure to that back line of the Toros.
Diaz Bay was able to race down on the ball and get there ahead of him to put it back into Derek, the keeper, who could send it safely over to the left side. But yeah, that was a terrific move by Martinez, who's out of Honduras. 19th minute now. No score, no team has a shot on goal yet. Although a couple of solid chances by both teams. This goes over to Ramsey. He'll play it back to Diaz Bay. Ball sent inside, Sorto. Sorto with some room to work. Send it over to the far side. There's a lot of space there for the Toros. That's Veta with it. Veta looking kind of frustrated there, like he had no one open for him. Then his pass back is actually intercepted. And then it went too far, too heavy, played by Martinez there. Went off his foot, and a promising opportunity is knocked away by Diaz Bay.
You saw Chang there just kind of slaps his hands together. He was trailing up that far sideline, and he was really looking for that pass to come out, although I don't know that Martinez saw him trailing on that far side. So Martinez does the best he can to just clear the ball into what he thought was going to be a safe spot. That's one of those things, as you continue to build chemistry as a team, you begin to know where your teammates are, understand where they're going to play from, and that only leads to better looks right there. So the more opportunities Real Monarchs gets in those type of situations, the more in tune with each other they'll be.
Ilioski plays it forward there, has it knocked away as Powder was trying to go forward. Pimentel for the Toros. Trying to get the Toros out of danger right here. Here's Lopez with it. And he'll get it across. Kuzain here with the ball and some space to work with. Now Sorto. Sorto with one man. Trying to get around him so he can cross. Now he does. And a little bit too far. That was nice there. He had a player at the far post and everything, but just drifted a little bit too far to the right and went out of play.
And it's a testament to Sorto's ability to dribble with the ball at his feet. You see it here. He's got the defender just all shaken up as he tries to find some room there. But I think that traveled probably 2 or 3 steps too far in for Sorto, so he couldn't get quite enough bend to keep that one in play at the top of the box.
Sorto out of Silver Springs, Maryland, just 21 years old. There's a lot of poise out there. As we mentioned earlier, 1 goal and 1 assist this season for him. In fact, he had the winning goal against San Antonio when they played here back in May. Monarchs going to play this over to the right side. Now it's into the middle to Portillo. The midfielder will send it to Adams. And it comes over to Morgan. A lot of pressure here by the Toros. So the Monarchs having trouble getting the ball forward. It's Martinez on it. Dueling with Diaz Bay. More than a hard tackle there. DSP, I think, feels he got a clean tackle. But they're going to call the whistle here, and you see Martinez is down. Take another look at that. DSP.
There's an argument to be made there. It looked like DSP deflected that ball up, and that's what kind of tripped Martinez up.
DSP has played really well, as we mentioned, from Havana, Cuba. He's all over the field too. I noticed he's not afraid to leave his position, because I mean, there he had come forward all the way into the midfield area, and then when Martinez got it on the right side, and DSP has been playing on his right, DSP wasn't afraid to go after him and try to tackle the ball from behind.
You gotta love that aggressive play, and that's kind of become a hallmark of the Toros this season under Wilmer Cabrera, having the ability and the tenacity to go after loose balls, to fight for 50-50 balls, and try to give your team an opportunity. They don't concede a lot of easy, clean passes. They are looking to dispossess you at every opportunity and really control the pace of play.
Vera, we saw, made a nice tackle there a moment ago as the Monarchs had something developing just a little bit. He was able to tap it forward to the keeper, Derek. And again, the Toros evade any kind of danger. Halfway through the first half now, the Toros with the throw-in. First meeting between these two clubs. They'll meet 3 more times before the season is done. 1 more time here at HEB Park and twice in Utah. Perry in Utah.
Like Amo and Chang got wrapped up. Chang is the one that finds his way to the turf. Taking a look at it right here. Not a whole lot of contact there. It's like Amo put his foot down to try to control the ball, and it kind of rolled under his ankle, so it slips away. He falls, and Chang kind of trips over the top of him.
And we saw the referee Thompson giving a little talk to Amo, maybe telling him if you're going to be reckless, going to be keeping a close eye on you.
It's a good look at Justin Portillo. I liked what he did there. Kind of slowed the pace for just a second, kept the ball at his feet, allowed some of his teammates to kind of stretch a little bit forward there. It's a nice veteran move there by the 28-year-old.
Fouls, by the way, just 3 apiece. Ball played back to Tyler Derrick. Derrick, as we mentioned in our pregame, 2 shutouts this season, had a season-high 9 saves against San Antonio. That was the road game that ended 1-1. So he kept them in it, and then the game-tying goal came in the 89th minute by Juan Carlos Azocar, who did not draw a start tonight, but we'll see if he is able to come in. Here's Ramsey with it. Ramsey with some room. Nice little cross there, too far out for Putna, and they have to play it into safety. They're going to concede the corner here.
And Noah Powder, I think, thought that was going to end at the hands of Putna. It carries, and look at Powder. All he can do is just kind of send that one away, ensure that it doesn't somehow slip its way in for an on goal.
And Coach Cabrera looking from the sideline, probably likes what he sees so far as the Toros have put on some pressure.
Jay Murphy going to take the first true fit corner for the Toros in this one.
This will be an in-swinger, headed out by Adams of the Monarchs. Nice header there, almost all the way back to midfield. Toros with possession, Sorto with the 1 touch. And now Ramsey with it. And Ramsey will send it into the area, and Putna has to come out and spear that one.
That's a good job in traffic, too, by Putna to come out. And you saw he took that one right into his chest, created a little bit of a cushion there with his arms, because if that comes off his hands, gets rebounded, you see Elvis Amo was standing on top of it. He was ready to send that one home.
We have a foul called on the Toros. Looks like that one's on Vera. Better out of Norwalk, California, just 24 years old. I like his aggression over there. We're seeing on that left side. Sent forward by the Monarchs over on the right. Running out of options, they'll have to send it back. Played forward a little bit. Ilaski couldn't get control. Toros win it back. That was Murphy who got it. Now to Lopez, and he'll go over to Veta on the left side.
I like this decision by the Toros in this one to continue to try to push the ball to open field. So they're not going to try to send it right into traffic and see if they can squeeze something out. They're going to force Real Monarchs to continue to stretch out into open field where there's plenty of green grass and allow those talented veterans to come in and try to make something happen on a one-on-one situation.
Ramsey plays it back to DSP, and then Pimentel will send it to the left side. Back to Pimentel. Pimentel with a lot of experience. Has played in the Mexican League and in Central America. Now sent forward. John Henry Sanchez is dispossessed, and it's cleared away by the Monarchs. Now we hear it could be a head injury there.
I think we're going to see our first yellow off of that as well as Sanchez and Johnson come in. Yeah, Sanchez has his arms up and kind of rakes that elbow forearm right across the back of the head.
Yeah, I was afraid at first that it might have been a head-to-head collision, but it looked like just the arm of Sanchez. There we see John Henry Sanchez right there out of Tumaco, Colombia, 26 years old. Got a yellow card. It's the first one issued today. See on the replay. I don't think he was trying to do anything malicious, but
it looked like he was trying to come around, so he gets his arms up to try to make himself as lean as possible to slip around, but in the process, a whole lot of contact across the back of Johnson's head and neck there.
Johnson, a forward out of Toronto, 5'9", 158 pounds, just 23 years old. Had a lot of touches tonight, we've seen.
Done a really nice job of pressing the pace for Real Monarchs. And it's interesting because this is one of the few times the Toros have seen a team that's willing to kind of match them aggression for aggression here at home. First 3 games they played a series of teams that were trying to do something just a little bit different. San Antonio, of course, not a fan of passing short. They were trying to pass long and deep. Mexico United was doing a really nice job of trying to play back. This is first time here from HEB Park the Toros have faced a team that wants to go with them toe-to-toe aggressive-wise. And you're seeing it here. Lots of contact back and forth, plenty of fouls being called.
Yeah, there's been 4 on the Toros, 3 on the Monarchs so far. We saw a shot of Ilyaski talking with Coach Alove a moment ago for Utah. The ball going to be sent forward. You got some space here on the right side. Bit of an opportunity there as Powder has to turn around. Now Chang will send it into the area, headed out by DSP, and a big shot is going to be over the bar. A little too ambitious there by Bonse.
It looked like Bonse thought that was going to come in a little bit lower, so he was going to try to put kind of a laser off of his foot. But that ends up floating a little bit high, so he gets it off of the top of his foot and his shin rather than down against the toe. Causes it to float just a little.
Bonse out of Burkina Faso in West Africa. A couple of West Africans on the Toros team as well. It's Amo, for instance. So we see Derrick's in this ball. Nice big kick all the way into the Monarchs' end. This will be DSP who'll gain control.
As you said, Amo getting the start for the Toros is a West African. One of their first substitutions typically is also Jay. So plenty of
he's
talent.
Out of Gambia.
Plenty of West African talent has made its way into the USL and making themselves known in a big way.
Adams here for the Monarchs. So it's inside to Ilyaski. He had immediate pressure from Lopez. Ilyaski forced to give it up to his teammate Holt. Now it's in the midfield. There's Chang trying to turn around. Now to be controlled by Portillo. Toros aren't letting anything through. Monarchs kind of forced to pass more, kind of east-west here rather than north-south. And you see immediate pressure by the Toros. I mean, almost as soon as somebody has it, even on the back line, the Toros not content to let them just sit there. In the last 15 of the first half, Monarchs going to send this one forward. No one there for the Monarchs, so Derrick will have an easy pickup.
Interesting as well is you haven't seen Real Monarchs come forward and force Derek to pick those balls up. When they come back and kind of drop there, they're staying in formation and hanging back and forcing Derek to put that one in play, rather than coming forward and forcing him then to pick it up, giving him the ability to try to clear.
So Ramsey sent it back to Lopez. Now it's at the midfield. We'll go back to Diaz Bay. He'll find Ramsey. Ramsey, as we mentioned, from South End in the United Kingdom. In fact, he last played for Billericay Town FC, which is in the 6th tier of English League football. Ramsey with it again, and something real interesting I learned about his town of Billericay is they actually had citizens from there who were on the Mayflower. So for you history buffs out there, have a neat connection there. The ball goes out of play, and this will be Monarchs ball.
Not the first Billericay resident to start their maiden voyage
Oh, yes.
here to North America.
He's following in the roots of his ancestors there a little bit. As Adams plays it forward. Trying to turn there is Bonse. Now Bonse, I believe, goes down. This is going to be a free kick for the Monarchs.
Rodrigo Lopez disagrees with that just a little frustration. Get a replay right here as Lopez comes forward.
Well, yeah, kind of his back heel a little bit, I think kind of inadvertently. Of course, Bonse may have sold it just a bit. There was a little bit of contact. The Monarchs will send this over to Morgan. And you notice they had no options deep there. You're forced to just play it off to the side to a teammate. Teams almost never want to do that. They almost always want to take advantage of free kicks, set pieces, a chance to set up your guys forward and really send it down there, put pressure on that other team. But the Toros are just, they've been good plumbers tonight. They have plugged all the leaks. Here's Sorto.
It's a great run by Sorto as well, but as he tries to dance down that line, looked like it just slipped out. Actually, they're going to say, no, that's going to belong to the Toros. Let's say that was off of Real Monarchs.
Interesting there. So the Toros can set up shop here. 35th minute. Coach Cabrera looking on. And he had a lot of good things to say about Amo, didn't he, when we talked to him this week?
Yeah, he talked about just what a great natural talent Amo is and how happy he is to see him kind of coming into his own offensively. He said looking at him preseason, you knew he was the type of player that had the talent to really be the key figure on the field, and that's why he started it forward every game thus far for the Toros. But to see all of that hard work and that talent transition itself into immediate results, he said was a huge breakthrough and should give Amo and this team a whole lot of confidence.
And we saw just a moment ago, Ramsey sent the ball into the area. It was Amo who was charging onto it. Couldn't quite get a redirect as the Monarchs sent it back out. But Amo is always there, just 1 second away from pouncing on that ball, and has to keep the Monarchs on their toes. And something that surprised me that Coach Cabrera shared with us is that Amo, you would think he's a natural center forward, but he had been kind of played out of position, I guess, at other clubs.
Yeah, he said everywhere they had seen him previously, they played him kind of in the midfield and not even as an attacking midfielder, more as a defensive midfielder. But he looked at him and said, this guy's a forward. Just look at him. That's reaping big results.
Sanchez there will send it to the middle. A shot goes too high over the bar. The attempt there by Murphy. Taking a look here. It was a nice run here by Sanchez and slides it over to Murphy, who was wide open, but too far over the bar. This will go off the Toros. We have a quick throw in there by the Monarchs. And now another Monarch player shaken up, and Thompson will come over and caution Veta.
Veta said, I didn't really do anything. We'll see another replay right here. So there's just a little bit of contact. Looked like he may have just stepped on the toe.
Cabrera making his third consecutive start tonight. Although I believe his first start in midfield. He's played at left back previously. Having a conversation with referee Thompson right now. Thompson looks like one of those no-nonsense type of referees.
Yeah,
You can just tell by the body language that
no
he's
doubt
not
about
gonna he's not gonna let you tell a sob story to him and give you the benefit. He's here to do a job.
No more.
You know?
Good shot of our coaches kind of looking at each other close near the midfield.
So Morgan with it, sends it back to Adams. Has Amo on top of him. So we send over to the right side. It's a nice little one-touch passing there by the Monarchs, trying to get it forward for Ilyaski.
DSP covered a ton of ground there and comes away with the ball. That's pure athleticism.
And now here's a nice little clearance. That's Lopez there. The ball makes its way all the way over to Putna. A little header there by Bonse, but the Toros get control. It's Kuzain with it, has it kicked away from him. The Monarchs with possession in the midfield. It's Ilyaski again trying to make something happen. As we mentioned, he scored the 2 goals in the 2-1 win. 2-0 win, I believe, for the Monarchs on Wednesday night against Sacramento.
That's a point worth mentioning. We haven't talked about it yet, but this has been a real short turnaround for Real Monarchs, Wednesday to Saturday. It's been interesting to see what they've got in those legs here against a really aggressive Toros team, especially as this game continues late in the second half, which is where the Toros tend to succeed. Are they going to have the legs to keep up?
Yeah, what is the stat that we looked at this week? 9 goals that the Toros have scored this year, and how many have come in the second half?
7.
Oh, my goodness.
It's been spectacular. And I think that may be playing into the kind of style of play that Wilmer Cabrera has brought to the Toros, and that is test in the first half. Stretch that defense, see what they're going to give you, and then come into halftime and really start to make some really tough technical decisions about how you're going to move. And it's worked out really well. The second half has been the Toros' half all season long.
They've had at least 2 goals this year that have come after the 85th minute. One was a game winner and one a game tying goal. So both occasions, it wasn't just something done in garbage time, but it got them a result. They're a team that I think has developed the swagger now, this kind of never say die attitude. Feels they can score no matter how late you get to it in a game. They can score. Now here's a free kick being awarded to the Toros. This will be the first free kick we've seen tonight that's in a dangerous position.
That's actually a really good spot there, about 15 feet out of the box. So they'll get a 10-foot step off from here. Looks like Kuzain's going to take this one. You can see right here, Sanchez drove that right in there into traffic. Gets tripped up by Johnson. So because of that, Toros are going to have a really nice opportunity here. Real Monarchs going to go with that short little 3-man wall. So keep a real close eye on Amo. Christian Sorto has shown some ability to really kind of come in from the deep side and make some contact. It's going to be a really good spot for the Toros.
Toros have 7 players in front of the shooter, which might be Kuzain or it might be Lopez, both of them behind the ball right now. And it's going to be Kuzain, sends it onto the net, and just wide. I think they might have been trying for a redirect. Pimentel was close, but couldn't quite get it. But a nice job there, Kuzain sitting into that far post and put the Monarchs defense on notice.
And the way Pimentel reacted, it looked like he thought that was going to be a little more forward. It was kind of toward his back foot, so he lets it kind of olay right past him. That was a really nice look for the Toros, though.
I did see a flag go up, so I think Pimentel was onside. It was a nice opportunity there for the Toros. 41st minute now, just a few minutes away from halftime between the Toros and Monarchs. The shots seem to favor right now the Toros at 3-1. This is Sorto with it. Plenty of space in front of him. And he'll slide it over to Lopez. Lopez quickly to the right side to Ramsey, who's overlapping. And now Lopez looks at the goal. Now he's going to return it to Ramsey and lob it up into the area, but too far. And that'll go out of play, and the Monarchs will have the throw in.
Not the result the Toros wanted, but that was a really nice exchange between Ramsey and Lopez. A little back and forth. Ramsey, a little give and go, gets it to Lopez, and Lopez puts that one in a really good spot. But it looks like with the pressure that Johnson was applying, Ramsey just couldn't get a good kick on that.
Ramsey looking like he's worth signing, just a new signee this past week, playing his first game, started making a lot of noise on that right side for the Toros. I was looking at his background. He actually played in the FA Cup in England. It was in his second round, or first 2 games before they got knocked out in the second round. He was with a tiny club in Woking, England, which is kind of to the west of London.
It's a really nice job there by Putnam, allowing that one to come to his feet, and then very slow to pick it up. Give his teammates a chance to get back into formation as they've been stretched out just a little bit on that last attack by the Toros.
Yeah, when you're a keeper and a team comes down on the attack and then you suddenly get the ball, you have to kind of realize that, okay, all my players right now are out of position as far as offense goes. So yeah, you kind of hold on to that ball, maybe run up to the top of your area and give your players a chance to, like you said, catch their breath and also just gain a little position so you can send the ball down deep and hopefully you'll maintain possession instead of just give it right back. This ball played back to Derek. Derek definitely returns it. And it'll be sent forward before the Monarchs gain control. See what they can do here. Sportillo sends it back to Adams. Now Morgan with it. Morgan will play it back to his keeper. Butner with plenty of time here. This goes all the way down. Pimentel is on top of that one. Pimentel from Mexico, 31 years old. A lot of experience he brings to this team.
There's experience all over the pitch for the Toros. I think that is one really kind of deftly intelligent thing that Coach Cabrera brought to this program. He brought in a lot of guys that have international experience at high levels. And that gives him the ability to kind of mix and match some youth in with that experience, and it's worked wonders.
He's got Pimentel with a lot of experience on the bench. Vicente Sanchez, who has played in professionally for Uruguay, the Uruguayan national team. Might see him a little bit later. He's usually used as a weapon in the last 15 or 20 minutes of games. And I guess this Toros team, kind of the antithesis of the Monarchs. Both teams have taken, their coaches and staffs have taken different approaches as far as youth versus experience.
Two different styles of play, but and it depends on where you want to take your team. And I think with the Toros, what they want to do is they want to turn this Toros team under Coach Cabrera into a team that does everything very technically sound and is very proficient in every aspect of the game. Whereas Real Monarchs doesn't appear to be so intensely focused on technical play, but more on just sheer athleticism and the ability to go out there and make spectacular things happen on the pitch.
Speaking of athleticism, we saw a nice header there by Adams at his center back spot, clearing the ball that was sent in by Lopez. Out of play into safety. We're going to have 2 minutes of added time here. No score as yet.
To that point, a team that's full of athletes that may not technically be playing the most adept technical game can be hard to coach against because you don't really know what to expect from them. Any one player could step up big in a moment and just use that sheer athleticism to break through. So if you're a technical team like the Toros, you've got to be real careful to ensure that you don't get yourself just a little bit stretched out and find yourself in a one-on-one against those pure athletes.
So a quick free kick awarded to the Toros. The Monarchs have possession now. Ilioski with it. Send it forward. Bonse now. Bonse marked by Lopez. Now he's got 3 Toros marking him. Returns to Ilioski, and now Morgan, who comes up from his left back spot. Send it into the area, and a player goes down. Play will continue. Thompson looking right at it. The opportunity there, that was Martinez who went down in the area trying to get a little flick on. And another opportunity here at the top of the box. The Toros able to knock that one away, and Kuzain looks like he's fouled from behind. Looks like Johnson maybe a little bit frustrated there.
Yeah, that just did not develop the way the Monarchs wanted it to. Right there in the top of the box. Had a couple good looks, a couple good passes that just did not find their point. And then Johnson forced to come out and contend against Kuzain after that clearance.
We have about 25 seconds left in the first half. Toros maybe looking to generate one last opportunity here. No need to hurry. Off to the right side. This is Diaz-Bay who's come up from his center back spot. Trying to get it to Amo, but it's knocked away by Adams. Adams will clear it up to midfield. And the ball headed back to Diaz-Bay. Now Ramsey with it. Ramsey with a nice move around Johnson. Able to get it to Kuzain. Kuzain able to turn, and he gets fouled from behind. And this is going to be a good opportunity here for the Toros in the dying seconds of the first half.
I don't know if you could have gotten much more centered. Really good job of Kuzain of maintaining possession through contact here.
There's Chang on the tackle attempt.
Chang boils him over, so this is a good spot, about dead center for the Toros. That makes the entire field basically open for them. They've got a head-on look right at goal. Probably one of the hardest positions to defend if you're Putna as well, because you've got to just kind of pick a side at this point. The entire net is open.
It's tough for goalies, because usually your wall covers one side, you cover the other side, but what do you do when the ball is right in the middle? They're going to go with a four-man wall, looks like, and there's Kuzain's shot at the net, and a save made by Putna. They'll just boot it up the field, and I think there's the whistle, and we are at halftime. No score between the Toros and Monarchs. We saw the closest opportunity really on the last kick of the first half, and the save made by Putna off the kick by Kuzain, who had drawn the foul initially. So no score here at HEB Park. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with some USL news and notes, and also our first half highlights and stats. So stick around for that. You're watching the USL Championship on ESPN+.
When we said Reliant offers free flex days, we had something a little different in mind. Get the flexibility of free electricity on your 2 highest use days every week with the Reliant Truly Free Flex Days plan. That's up to 8 free days a month. So go on. What are you waiting for? We'll even upgrade your plan to solar. On us. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And welcome back to HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas. I'm Mark May along with Brian Smith. And halftime, no score between the Real Monarchs SLC and the Rio Grande Valley FC Toros. And Brian, what do you make of the first half?
We'll give our appreciation to the official vodka sponsor of the RGV Toros Live Oak Texas Vodka. But on top of what a great sponsor they are, let's talk about that great action we saw here in the first half. And I think you saw a half filled with two very different styles, but two styles that really found the success they were looking for despite neither side finding a goal. You saw the Toros did a really nice job of kind of stretching the field back and forth, finding some green space, making things happen. But on the flip side, Real Monarchs, coming off that big 2-0 victory against Sacramento last time out, did a really nice job of not having the Toros set the pace. The Monarchs were attacking, doing a really nice job.
And I noticed they didn't panic either. But they're a young team, and I think the Toros may have felt, hey, we come off with the full court press, so to speak, we might be able to generate a turnover deep in the Monarchs' end and get a quick shot on goal. That didn't happen. The Monarchs, they maintained their poise throughout that half.
And a great job defensively. It's worth mentioning, as the first part of this season progressed, the Monarchs really kind of had to find their way against teams that took control very early on. They fell 2-2, or they had a 2-2 draw to open up and then dropped their next one 0-2 against LA Galaxy 2. Had a 1-1 draw against Austin Bold, then fell 2-0 to Austin Bold. So it's a team in the Monarchs that really spent the first half of the season trying to combat what the other team was doing. And I think we saw something very differently here against the Toros, as you saw differently when they played against Sacramento on Wednesday. Is they're a team that didn't stand back and let the opposition bring the attack to them. They were right in the middle of it, getting it mixed up. They're being aggressive. And a big part of that, I think they gave Coach Wilma Cabrera and the Toros something to really talk about here at halftime, and that is, what are we going to do to combat this aggression, to ensure that we find ourselves in spots like they had a few times in the first half to get good looks on goal.
It seems like the Toros are able to generate the getting the ball down the wings and then able to cross it into the area for Amo, who's 6'2", can get that header or that redirect on net. Hasn't quite clicked yet, and it seems like the Monarchs are certainly ready for that, and they've had somebody in position each time that the Toros were able to generate an attack on them.
And I think responding with a good counter, which is a big thing that we saw for the Monarchs there in the first half, is when RGV had that small kind of misstep in the box, not able to connect with Sorto or with Amo. The Monarchs didn't just take possession and try to clear it out. They were attacking, so a great counter coming back the other way to force the Toros to respond and fall back rather than being in a position in the box to get a quick takeaway and have another look.
And I thought the Toros have done a good job on Ilioski. Ilioski had one semi-close opportunity there in the first half where he was able to turn, but right when he turned, Sorto cleared the ball away from him. It would have been a point-blank shot, but for the most part, Ilioski has not been able to find the space I think he's looking for.
I think it's a great point. And as Real Monarchs comes out in the second half, I would expect to see them try to put Ilioski in better spots in space. Perhaps not push him forward quite so much, leave him back a little bit, and see if they can catch him as a trailer or get him kind of in motion away from the mark.
Yeah, maybe make him more of a deep line forward,
Exactly.
Kind of like you hear the term false nine sometimes when you pull that guy back and it forces the defense to make a decision. Okay, do we send a guy up and mark him and leave a space open behind us, or do we stay back here and then just let him have a field day there in front of us? And it puts a defense in a real quandary. And yeah, we might look to see if they do that with Ilioski. That'll be pretty interesting to see. And finally, the keepers, neither of the keepers was really stressed in the first half. I mean, the closest scoring opportunity we saw was right there at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to look at what Putnam and Derek did really good in the first half, and that was communicating with those backline defenders about where the attacks were coming from and allowing those backline defenders to be kind of a shield, to break those attacks up before they become tricky and allow you to kind of stand in net and have that wider look at what's happening in front of you on the pitch. Communication is key, and I think both keepers did a really nice job in the first half of communicating what they were seeing from the back line and helping those defenses really stand strong.
I think we only saw one slight miscommunication where a ball was, Putnam had come out to grab it, but it was tailing away from him. He kind of misread it, but one of his teammates rose to the occasion. I think it was Powder, just sent the ball into touch and then conceded the corner kick, so they're okay there. So 0-0 is our score here at the break. We're going to take a short timeout, look at what's happening around the USL. When we come back, you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+. Cue the smoke in the Brickyard Battalion.
Vitiello's there again. Second header.
Here's a chance for Cicerone. Russell Cicerone, the leading goal scorer. And welcome back to HEB Park. Mark May here with Brian Smith. Looking at the halftime stats right now. Notice both teams came out in a 4-2-3-1 formation, or maybe like a 4-5-1 with 5 midfielders, a couple of defensive midfielders, and 3 attacking mids. But how does it look here stat-wise here in the first half?
I think, as you talked about, stats come pretty level across both teams. Toros have the advantage in shots 2-1, but that's a pretty narrow margin when you think about the amount of aggressive contact we saw there in the first half. Possession stayed relatively level. Give a slight tick over to the Toros as they held possession for about 55% of the first half compared to 45 there by the Monarchs. I think one thing to really watch here, which is something we haven't seen much this season, no offsides in the first half on either side. Both teams did a really nice job.
That's interesting, yeah.
Keeping the ball in possession, but doing a really nice job of not allowing themselves to be overextended and make those long passes. Only one yellow card there in the first half. That was issued.
It was John Henry Sanchez,
correct.
Ticked up that one. So we'll see if in the second half, if they have him subbed out at the kickoff, or if they sub him out at some point in the second half, because it gives Coach Cabrera a little something to think about.
Another thing to watch is the duels won here in the first half. You looked at all that contact and you thought, well, that's probably going to be pretty level. But in actuality, the Toros nearly doubling up Real Monarchs in duels won. So that'll be something to really watch in the second half, is if the Monarchs continue to be aggressive, but they're not finding victories in those one-on-one duels, what's that going to mean for their ability to keep up that level of play against a really crafty Toros team?
And we were talking about the crosses early on. Toros with 8 open play crosses in that first half, and the Monarchs doing a good defensive job on that. The Monarchs have had 4 open play crosses in there as well. And then the fouls, 6 against the Toros, 8 against the Monarchs, and of course the 1 yellow against the Toros as well. And let's see if we have any halftime highlights here to look at between these two teams. Evenly matched, the Toros and Monarchs, as we take a look at them here.
A nice job here by Christian Sorto of trying to lead that one up, and that was the play we talked about, those little misconnections. Here's a Luis Ramsey. Louis trying to put that one in play. Nice job by Putna coming out, tying that one up. Here's another look at Real Monarchs and that pressure they were applying as they continue to move it forward. Here's Johnson coming in through contact. And here's that first look. Yeah, first look by Cousin there. And you see that was just a little bit off, but Pimentel was right in the spot. There's that second look. Putna again coming out big and able to corral that one in. Great job defensively on both sides here in the first half. Also gives a chance to tell you about some of the USL notes across this week. Mexico United announced this week that it signed forward Armando Moreno to a new contract extension that will keep him as the 2020 Offensive Player of the Year with the team through the 2023 season. This comes a day after the team struck a new deal with defender Kalen Ryden. Also, Phoenix Rising announced this week it's acquired defender Tate Schmidt on loan from Major League's Real Salt Lake. The Phoenix native joins the Western Conference title holders through the end of this season's USL Championship, unless being recalled up by Real Salt Lake. We also might want to take a moment to look at what's coming up with the USL Championship teams of the week. We talked earlier on how Elvis Amo made the championship team. And Amo was selected as the championship player of the week for this past week based on his 3 goals in the win over Miami. It's the first chat for the Toros since Michael Salazar did so back on April 24th, 2019 against LA Galaxy 2. The rest of that team of the week is as you see it right there on the screen in front of you. A couple of big names jumping out there as well. Arturo Rodriguez and Danny Beretta had huge performances for their teams as they're continuing to kind of tick their way up those standings. And then a name very famous to Toros faithful there at the very bottom there, forward Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. named the team of the week for his time with Hartford United.
Hartford United. And Hartford United had a goal that I think is going to end up being goal of the week for this week that was scored from behind the half line. An incredible highlight. You might look that one up. But last week, the Toros had the goal of the week, didn't they?
Yeah, Juan Carlos Azocar's bicycle kick, and bicycle probably doesn't go as far as describe how spectacular that goal was. Came there against San Antonio FC back on May 29th was not only the goal of the week, but was also the winner of the fan online vote because it was a spectacular goal. That one tying the game in the 89th minute to take it to a 1-1 draw.
I mean, yeah, do you talk about high drama? That was definitely it. And we asked Coach Cabrera about that during the week, just a little bit about that. And just as a fan, you know, how did he feel? And he expressed his amazement at that. And he said that's not really, it's not all that unusual. Asokar practices those in half. It was not some kind of accident where everything fell into place. He practices those, and he got the opportunity. And, you know, things like that might happen once a season, but he practices it, and he was Johnny on the spot and right when they needed it, because it wasn't just a goal, but it's a goal that got him a result.
Yeah, that kind of boggled my mind when Coach was talking about it. You don't think of players being able to have that kind of athletic ability to do that over and over and over. And he says Asokar comes out and does that in practice just to see if he could do it.
And that's got to be some wear and tear on the body, too, because you're kind of throwing yourself on your back. And it's, yeah, that's not easy to do, but it was spectacular to watch. It's on the USL website, as a matter of fact. And so, yeah, terrific game there. On the 3-game road swing, the Toros go 1-1-1. As we said, picked up 4 points there. And this is the first of 4 meetings that they're having with Real Monarchs this season. They'll meet again on August the 4th, and that'll be in Harriman, Utah. Then October 2nd back here in Edinburgh, and October 27th again in Utah. That'll be near the end of the season. And did some checking. I was wondering, I always like to know the differences between the two communities that are involved in a given game. And Harriman, Utah is 1,500 miles from Edinburgh. But the more interesting thing is Harriman is at 5,000 feet above sea level. We here in Edinburgh at 95 feet above sea level. You know, the beach is only about an hour away from where we are right now. And so I was kind of wondering, how is that going to affect Utah? You always hear about teams that play in the mountains having a bit of an advantage, but what about when they come into an area where there's high humidity? And so we'll kind of see how that plays out in the second half.
Let's get a chance to look at the upcoming schedule for both teams. You did a nice job just a moment ago, Mark, of talking about the way these two teams are going to face each other 4 more times on the season. But for Real Monarchs, once they conclude action here today, they've got a couple more coming up. They'll be against El Paso Locomotive on June 18th. They'll face Sounders FC2 on the 23rd, and then San Antonio FC on June 26th. Following that up with June 30th against Mexico United. And then they'll have some time playing in Colorado, July 4th, 4th of July, against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. For the Toros.
By the way, 3 of those 4 games are going to be at home for the Monarchs.
And then for the Toros, a couple of nice matchups coming up. Once they conclude here, they've got one more home game on this stand. That's June 16th against Austin Bold FC. Then they're going to go back on the road for one, June 19th against San Antonio FC. Then they've got the next 2 at home, June 25th against Tulsa and June 30th against El Paso Locomotive before they hit the road. They're on July 10th to face Austin Bold one more time.
By the way, El Paso ranked number 1 in the league right now. So that is a tough team, even though they are a point behind the Toros, but they have been red hot lately. And it'll be interesting to see how they do against El Paso. That's a team they lost to earlier. Let's take a quick break before we start second half, and we'll be back with more USL Championship Soccer here on ESPN+. I'm sorry, we're going to continue here as we got the second half underway between the Toros and SLC. And by the way, you were talking about the schedule for the Monarchs. They've got a real gauntlet coming up later in the year in August, Brian. They're going to play 7 of 9 on the road between August 7th and October 2nd. So if they're going to make a move in the standings, they need to kind of do that now and build that up before they hit that gauntlet at the beginning of August.
I think it's one of the advantages, really, of playing these kind of interdivision games very early on in the season is you've seen all of your interdivision opponents very early. You can make some adjustments, kind of put yourself in a good spot to make another push later in the season. But as you said, anytime you can get points, get those points.
Now, teams have switched in, so the Toros now moving from right to left, Monarchs left to right. Toros on the attack here, trying to build something. This is Sorto with it. He's going to reverse it. Espe will send it over to the right side now. It looks like Carter Manley in there, who did not start in the first half, so he's subbed in. And here we have Putna sliding out to grab this ball as Kuzain was charging in on it.
I think it's a nice job coming out and being aggressive by Putna, not allowing that to try to build up in the box. He's had a spot he could come out and safely take that, and he did just so.
Yeah, Putna playing with a lot of poise. Of course, he picked up his first clean sheet in their game on Wednesday night. That 2-0 victory over Sacramento. Chance here for the Monarchs. They get it over to the right side. This is Martinez. Martinez with some space to work with, but waiting for his teammates to come down and then gets dispossessed. Nice job there by the Toros defense. Amo there with a man on him, forced to play it back. Now here is Sorto. Pimentel sends it forward. His pass intercepted. A chance here for the Monarchs. Here's Martinez into the area, and his shot knocked out for a corner kick. Pimentel put this foot out there and is able to deflect that into safety.
And that's a really nice job by Pimentel, staying in position, didn't allow himself to kind of drift too far forward, stayed right on the ball. And as that one was tried to cross back into the center, look what he does. Just sticks one foot out, deflects that away. Really, really intelligent move right there.
Saw a close-up of Martinez, who had that shot. His first name is Douglas, but notice that on the back of his jersey it has his first name instead of his last name. So Portillo will take the corner. This is the second corner of the game for the team from Utah. They get a hitter. It's going to go over the bar. A good chance there by Eric Holt, the defender for the Monarchs.
Gets a little hand check from his teammate there. Kyle Adams comes over and says, nice job there. It's a well-earned look. And again, we talked about Real Monarchs really aggressive coming out here in the second half, sticking with that game plan that was pretty successful for them early on.
Toros trying to build something here. Going to be Murphy. Plays it over to the right side. Kuzain there, weaving through traffic into the area. Slides it over. Lopez! Shot save made! Play still continues. It goes back to Lopez. Save made by Putna. It was a screamer, but it went right at him. Sorto with nothing to work with, so he passes it back to Sanchez, and now Lopez with it. Lopez reverses direction and slide it over to Sanchez. Nice hard shot there, but Putna right on top of it to punch it away into safety. Amo sends it forward. Sorto a shot and a hand save made there by Putna. Amo tries for a follow-up, but it's knocked away. Ilyaski on top of it. Play continues here. And a physical here in this early part of the second half. Sorto pressing, shoots again on net, and another save made by Putna. So, wow, the Toros, 3 shots in about the space of a minute. And Putna rising to the occasion all 3 times.
And Putna had a rough last minute more than he had the entire first half, and a big part of that, Christian Sorta was decided to get out his long distance card because he is firing from all over the pitch and putting them on goal.
Yeah, these are shots on net. That's, by my count, 4 shots on net now for the Toros. I think their season high is 7. Kuzain with it now, moving in. And his shot partially blocked. Wasn't quite able to get everything on that. It was a left-footed shot, but not able to scoop it up. That goes out, and this will be Monarchs' ball. Seeing the action really pick up here this early part of the second half. The Monarchs with it, trying to get it forward there. Nobody in the area, and Sorto slides onto that one, but we've got a whistle, and this is going to be a free kick for the Monarchs.
A little bit of contact there between Murphy and the Real Monarch midfielders. You see it here, Murphy tries to come sliding in. They end up kind of connecting knee to knee there.
There's Castillo, by the way, knocked down for the Monarchs.
Needs a minute to gather himself. And I don't know if you've ever gone knee to knee with another player, but that doesn't tickle.
There's few things on this earth that hurt more than that when your kneecap collides with somebody else's. So we're back underway now. Monarchs onto the attacking on the right side. And the ball squeezes forward. It will go out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for the Toros. 7 minutes into the second half. No score as yet, but the Toros with some ferocious attacking there just a moment ago. We'll see if they can get it going again here. This is Kuzain with it. And quickly the Toros work it down to the right side. A lot of space here. This is Sanchez with it. He's going to slide it over for Murphy into the area. Oh, an attempted scissor kick there by Sorto. Couldn't quite get connected. Murphy sends it back to Sorto. Sorto trying to get turned. And then has his pocket picked by Holt. Good defending there by Holt. Toros still with possession. Vera with it here. He'll find Sorto. Well, Sorto had two markers closing in, so he'll pass it back. Pimentel with it. He'll trot it forward, and it's one touched forward intended for Amo, but taken by the Monarchs. And they got a chance here.
It's a great counter right here. Two guys trailing left and right.
4 on 3, and that ball will be sent into touch as Diaz Bay with a nice experienced move there.
That's again, I mean, that's a testament to what a great addition Diaz Bay is to this Toros team. Does a really nice job coming back. There's two players really wide. But you get a look before that here. Look at Christian Sorto really trying to mix it up there with Holt. Little 20 on 20 violence. But Holt comes away with it. Does a nice job of clearance with those hips, keeping Sorto off the ball. But then coming back the other way, Diaz Bay does a great job defensively there. Though they've got the numbers, Real Monarchs had a really nice kind of Y attack developing there. Two trailers on the left and right. He's able just to send that one away and force the next true fit corner.
So third corner of the match for SLC. This will be Portillo to take it. To be an in-swinger toward the near post. Adams tried for the header, couldn't quite get it, and it's cleared away by Kuzain. So the Monarchs not afraid to bring numbers forward when they get those set pieces. So Adams on their defensive line. I mean, all the way forward for that, trying to get the scoring opportunity there. Coach Cabrera handing the ball to Bonce. Thought that went out, but play continues here. Toros end up with possession. Kuzain will send it forward. Sorto trying to get to it, but a little too far forward for him. The Monarchs send it up the field. They'll chip this one forward, and a lot of space here to work with for Martinez. They'll wait for numbers to come forward. He's forced to play it back to Powder. Now Powder forward to Ilyaski, and then has it knocked away by Diaz Bay. And then the player James Murphy able to get on top of the ball. So nice job by Diaz Bay and Murphy to combine to deny Ilyaski there. It's Martinez. Martinez again plays it forward. Gets the return. Played it too heavy though, and it's cleared out into safety by the Toros. Looks like Murphy again on that play.
And give some credit to the Toros. They have weathered a couple of really good attacks developing here by Real Monarchs and doing a really nice job of just doing what they can defensively to get those clearances before something is able to dribble and bounce and pick its way into the box.
Toros kick it away from Martinez, so a throw in here for the Monarchs. Ball played back to the man who threw it in. Now Chang with it. Chang maintains his balance. Goes to Martinez, who will sit it inside for Powder. Still possession here by the Monarchs. And Martinez able to send this in toward the net, but a little too far. No one there for SLC. Morgan gets on top of it and then plays it off of Sanchez to win the throw-in. Morgan, who's out of Canada, one of two Canadians on this Monarchs team. Ilyaski with it now on the left side. Sends it in. Martinez trying to turn, and then it's knocked away there by Vera. Martinez almost with a point-blank shot, but the Toros deny him. Sorto with the header. Holt will play it back. Now Adams looks like he's going to play it to his keeper, Putna. Putna from Lamont, Illinois, making his second straight start here for the Monarchs. Has not given up a goal yet. He had a shutout in his first game and has pitched a shutout so far tonight. We're in the 57th minute. His counterpart Tyler Derrick for the Toros came in with 2 clean sheets, both here at HEB Park. And right now, could be picking up a 3rd by the end of the evening. Sorto with it. Sorto waiting for numbers to come forward. Powder marking him. Now Veta. Veta forced to play it back to Murphy. And they'll go into the middle now. Yespe, who's come up, finds a Carter Manley on the right side. Manley, as we said, a substitute at halftime. Now Lopez, the captain, he had a great opportunity there in the few minutes ago. Ball played into the middle, cleared out by Holt. I think some of the fans thought this might have been a handball here. Martinez with it. Yes, he's cut off. He'll get it into his teammate Portillo. Now with an opportunity here is Bonce. Collided with Kuzain and lost possession. Back come the Toros. Toros had a machine gun succession of shots a few minutes ago. Trying to set up the offense again.
Needed a minute to let that barrel cool down after they just
might have melted the barrel. Here's Sorto moving into the left side of the penalty area. Nice little spin move, and a shot looks like it went off the defense for a corner. And they are going to award the corner. Sometimes officials don't always see that, but it will be a corner kick here for the Toros. Take another look here. It's going one-on-one against Powder. Looked like Putnam was in a good position either way.
Just the second trip to the true fit corner for the Toros in this one. Went once in the first half. This is the first trip in the second half.
Lopez sends it into the area. After Murphy took the corner kick, it goes out of play. This will be another corner.
And one corner begets another. And now Murphy's going to have to make that long trip from one corner to the other.
This will be, both teams will have 3 corners. Looks like the Toros will put 5 in the box. We've got Sanchez closest to the goal right now. Amo kind of in the middle. Nice high arcing ball. There's a header, but just out. Looked like DSP got his noggin on it. They had one of his teammates was right there. That was Pimentel. Might have gotten each other's way just a little bit here.
It's not a bad ball by Murphy. Gets it right into the top of the box. Looks like Adams got just enough of a head kind of in front.
Oh, and there's a steal and a shot and a score. And the Toros on top here in the 60th minute have grabbed the lead.
The magician, Juan Kuzain, comes out of nowhere. Kind of a sloppy play of the ball right in front of Putna. Kuzain says, I'll take that. And it powers that into the left corner. You cannot sleep on these Toros. They are very adept defensively. They turn that takeaway into a quick goal.
Comes in the 60th minute, the second goal of the season for Kuzain. And you can see it was just, it was a turnover as Kuzain came and picked the pocket of the defender. See who that was. That was Portillo. And nothing Putna could do really as Kuzain came in from behind and took the ball from Portillo. Had no idea Kuzain was there. And Kuzain with his second goal of the season. And it's 1-0 Toros.
You hear a lot of coaches say that you need to move with the ball, and when you do so, you need to move with purpose. You can't just have the ball at your feet and kind of leisurely be playing across that back line. And Kuzain saw that as Putna just kind of gently sent that to Portillo. Portillo was standing there kind of thinking about where he was going to go with it, and Kuzain says, well, this is my spot. Tacks right in there, and before anybody knows what even happened, Kuzain's twinkling the back of the net.
And, you know, I have to wonder, you know, most observers will say, well, Putna, what could he have done there? But it's the goalkeeper's decision who he passes to. And if you see players that might have markers close to them, you need to really think before you pass them the ball, especially right in front of your own goal like that. I'm wondering if Putna was able to verbally let Portillo know that, hey, man on, so he would know to turn around. That might be something that Coach Olave will want to address afterward, because the Monarchs kind of bit themselves on that last one, but a great opportunistic move by Cousin.
And Cousin is really coming into his own offensively there for the Toros. Remember, Cousin is kind of an attacking midfielder, so he finds himself kind of in an interesting spot there. You would have expected him to perhaps play back just a little bit further with the intent on being able to attack from the midfield, but playing forward like that, almost as if he were a forward. He's able to do a really nice job when that ball is not moving with any type of deliberate purpose. He steps up and says, goal, goal, goal.
Now we see a substitute coming on for the Monarchs. This will be number 95, a midfielder, Griffin Dillon. I think this might be his first appearance for the Monarchs. He's one of those young players from their academy, I believe. And we see Putna again, almost played that one a little too heavy, and the Toros were closing in. Dillon with his first touch here. Nice little deft move. Keeps the attack going. Opportunity here. This is 4v4. Going to play this off to the left side, and it's kicked away at the last moment. Another terrific defensive move there by the Toros. That was Diaz Bay. Boy, he is just worth his weight in gold on that defense.
He's been spectacular, and you think a lot of times that a really good midfielder can be the spot where your team will work through, and oftentimes that'll be a player like Rodrigo Lopez. But I think the argument could be made that Diaz Pay is really becoming kind of the heart and soul of this team right now, because he is covering all kinds of space.
Portillo sends it in, headed out by Amo, all the way back from his center forward spot. But the Monarchs regain possession. Portillo tries to send it again. John Henry Sanchez taking one for the team there. It looked like it may have gone off his, like the abdomen area, and he is down for the count. See Sanchez running over there. Portillo is trying to center that ball. It looked like it hit him high, maybe in that solar plexus. We were talking earlier about sensitive parts of the body, the kneecap, and then the solar plexus, another one. Haven't seen the elbow yet, the funny bone.
Give it time. Plenty of time left in this one. Going back to that goal by Cousin, that's his second goal of the season. First goal came back on May the 16th against San Antonio FC in the 42nd minute. Score this one. It
was in the 60th minute, I believe, when Cousin scored tonight. And we talked about the second half goal scoring of this Toros team. 9 goals scored this year, and 8 of the 9 scored in the second half, and now it's 9 of 10 have come in the second half. Going to take another look at that goal as Putna simply slid the ball, and Cousin was running on a full sprint. I think he kind of saw the opportunity earlier, kind of saw what might develop there.
And his team,
what a great move.
Elvis Amo of the hat trick saying, "There you go, young man." Making him proud.
Well, now the Toros have 2 multiple goal scorers. Amo came in with 4. Everyone else had 1, including Cousin. Cousin now with 2, and we're seeing a KG veteran coming in now for the Toros.
Vicente Sanchez, who's got a goal in this season, comes in early compared to when we normally see him. They usually save him till around the 80th minute or so. But he's going to come in and presumably get some pretty big minutes here.
He's a crafty midfielder with a lot of experience, played for the Uruguayan national team, has also played on a Copa Libertadores winner out of Uruguay. And another substitute is Baboucar Jay out of Gambia coming in place of Sorto. Sorto's had a couple of good shots on goal here in this game. Jay is 6'1", 160 pounds, 26 years old. Vicente Sanchez, 41 years old. In fact, he became the oldest player in the league to ever score a goal in the history of the league. Back in that 1 goal he scored in the second game this year for the Toros.
Yeah, that game against San Diego Loyal, 87th minute, arguably one of the more aesthetically pleasing goals you're going to see, as he used that age and experience to really put himself in a good spot and got a beautiful header from about 15 feet out.
Chang has the ball knocked away by Pimentel. Throw in here for the Monarchs. Trying to get it to Ilyaski. Couldn't quite get the touch. And the Toros able to clear it. This is Adams here. He'll play it back to Putnam. Yeah, and we asked Coach Cabrera during the with his when we had the press opportunity with him yesterday, and I asked him. I said, "Well, who's your leader? Who's a player out there, not necessarily the most talented, but somebody that has shown a lot of leadership and that the players really kind of depend upon and can be kind of a rock out there for you?" And he quickly mentioned Vicente Sanchez.
And he said several times this season that Sanchez is almost like having an assistant coach on the pitch with your team. And one of the things, one of the media days, I think it was in week 3, he talked about was that it's very rare to see a player that when they're not on the pitch is standing up next to the coaching staff talking about schematics, talking about technical adjustments. But that's Vicente Sanchez. He's taken every opportunity to just kind of sweep up this moment of playing here in the USL and to apply some of that international experience he has to help this Toros team make the kind of adjustments they need to be successful.
Nice job there by Vera to dispossess Chang just outside the area and send it quickly back to Derek, who sent it into safety at midfield. This is Vera with it right now. Or excuse me, that's, yes, it is Vera. Thought it might be Diaz-Bay. Well, they both, one wears 15, one wears 18, but Vera with a nice move there. And now there's Diaz-Bay on the other side of the field. Manley with some space to work with. Has Dylan closing in. This is Sanchez with it, who just came on. And Kuzena, one touch to Sanchez. Nice little give and go. Sanchez into the area, but Morgan is there to get on the ball. And right there, we saw an almost opportunity. Now Sanchez again with some space in the area, trying to get around Adams. Centers the ball, couldn't quite get everything on it, and the Monarchs are able to clear it. There we saw twice in 15 seconds as Sanchez able to produce some half chances. Cleared out to Chang. And he'll send a long ball down. That's something we haven't seen either team do much of tonight, is that long ball.
I think no time like the present to try to press it, especially when you've got numbers as Real Monarchs had on that last possession. The Toros had not quite gotten back defensively. So go ahead and send that ball deep and see if you can make something happen. Remember, we've talked a couple times already about just the sheer level of athleticism you see all over this Real Monarchs roster. So anytime you can use that athleticism and try to get some one-on-one contact in space, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, we'll see them no doubt try that again before we get to the end tonight. Ilyaski with some space will send it over to the left flank. And now sent into the area. Derek's going to stay home as it goes all the way through the penalty area, and Vera clears it up to midfield. Now we've got a Toros player down back outside the 6-yard box.
Earlier substitution for RGBFC coming out, number 17, John Sanchez, for number 14,
Looks like that may be Diaz-Bay. He found himself kind of a little bit of a tussle right there at the box. Whole lot of bodies kind of flying around because it looked like that initial pass.
Never see next to Coach Cabrera in white, the coach in the middle there, that's Gerson Echeverri, the former head coach of the Toros. That's kind of an interesting dynamic, isn't it? You don't often see the former head coach serve as an assistant to his successor, but that's what's happened here for the Toros, and they've made it work.
And one of the things Coach Cabrera has talked about is the importance of keeping him on the staff because he has shown his ability to be a really good scout of talent. And Coach Cabrera appreciated his ability to really kind of see the guys that will fit the system that was being brought in. And he said, this is exactly the kind of assistant coach I needed, somebody that has the experience to recognize the kind of players that have been here with the Toros and that had found success here, but at the same time be able to scout some high-quality talent to come in and allow them to mix into that system.
Yeah, their first midseason signee, Ramsey, has had a terrific game here tonight. It is Diaz-Bay, by the way. You were right, Brian. And it appears he was just kind of shaken up. It looks okay now. I don't see any substitutes on the sideline, so it looks like Diaz-Bay will stay in there. So we've got 20 minutes to go here. And you can see the players in those close-ups from our cameras. You can see their they look like they just stepped out of the shower with their clothes on.
A little bit of perspiration, right?
A little bit of perspiration out there, a little bit of humidity.
Game time start, it was 90 degrees here in Edinburgh, Texas. It's cooled down to a chilly yet blistering 84. As you said, we're in a very humid part of the country. Take a look right here. Cerritos coming in.
Looks like the goal scorer coming out, Guzane. Get some appreciation. Yeah, attaboys from the coaching staff there. And now Cerritos will be in there. Alexis Cerritos is a forward out of Santa Clara, California, 5'11", 140 pounds, only 20 years old. And Cerritos going after that one. Monarchs push it up forward, and here's a chance for the Monarchs. With 3 defenders back, Ilyaski is knocked down. This is going to be a foul and a free kick in a dangerous spot here for the Monarchs.
DSP is going to pick up a yellow off of that. So Rodrigo Lopez, the captain, with his white and gold armband, is going to make a little bit of an argument here. DSP says, I don't know what I did. He's defending the ball there. Vicente Sanchez, the veteran, coming in and making the argument for his team as well. Get another look right here. This is a nice job of coming forward. DSP, you said, a very aggressive defender, tries to cut the angle off.
Did get the touch on the ball first, but did impede his progress, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that's where the card comes from. He impedes his progress, and then kind of, you saw it there, extended that hip out.
Yeah, this isn't hockey. You can't do the hip checks.
So he earns a yellow, and that gives the Monarchs arguably one of their better looks thus far in the second half.
They're going to lob this into the area. Manley's able to head it out. Martinez trying to get the turn. It's kicked away again. Nice job of defending there. That was Pimentel who cleared it out of the area for the Toros. And now the Toros have an opportunity here on the right side. Moving downfield, this is Cerritos with fresh legs. Going up against Adams. Trying to get inside. Oh, Adams blocking the shot. Goes up to Portillo, and now the Monarchs coming back, and we've got a stoppage now as there's a player down for the Monarchs.
That's Kyle Adams. Looked like as that kick came in, he might have got a little bit kind of nicked there in the upper thigh, high hip area. So he needs a minute just to kind of...
One of those kind of injuries that draws a lot of sympathy from the male spectators, doesn't it?
You got to look right here, Cerritos does a nice job of cutting back in toward the middle, but as he turns to make that kick, just slides right up that high thigh.
Adams, the former Toros we talked about earlier. A lot of experience. I didn't realize he played, was it 61 games?
61 games across
Toros?
3 seasons, yeah.
Some instructions given to Chang there. Chang playing on the right wing this evening. 75th minute now. And Toros in front thanks to a 60th minute goal by Juan Guzane. Guzane, who's from Illinois, but his parentage is from Malaysia. He was subbed out a minute ago for Vicente Sanchez. Monarchs trying to get something going here. Toros putting the pressure back on here. We saw this in the first half. And it ends up in a turnover as Butna put a little too much on that. It goes out of play, and this will be a throw-in now for the Toros. Carter Manley, who's out of Elk Ridge, Maryland, will come over to throw this in. Comes into Lopez, played back to Manley. Manley tries to go forward, but no one there. Morgan on top of it. He'll let it go out of play, and this will be a goal kick now for the Monarchs.
If this score holds, this is going to be a big win for the Toros, not only because it maintains their unbeaten record here at home, but it's also going to have a big impact on the overall matchup history between the Toros and Real Monarchs.
It's been a close series between these two historically. The Monarchs, they played 8 games, and the Monarchs have won 4 and lost 3. There's been 1 draw. Of course, the last match back in 2019 was a 3-1 Toros victory. We just saw a substitution there. Who came on?
Timmy Sobowale comes in. Another one of those very young and talented players for Real Monarchs. He's going to replace, I believe coming off on that one was Morgan.
Ashton Morgan, the defender. Here's Murphy with some space. Murphy sent it forward right behind Amo, so Amo couldn't quite get the touch he wanted. Now the Monarchs with a chance.
For Sobowale, the 6'1 defenseman out of Dundalk, Ireland. He's got some big minutes to play here for Real Monarchs. Well, as you mentioned, Mark, series is to the advantage of Real Monarchs at 4-3-1 through 8 games, 4 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie. This would effectively tie it up at 4-4-1 if the score holds.
Subawali, by the way, one of those young players that you talked about, just 19 years old. What did you say, 7 players that are 20 or younger?
7 players 20 or younger on this Real Monarchs roster.
I was looking at their pregame notes, and it kind of talked about how philosophically they kind of hit the reset button from last year to this year. Last year, not too good for them. I think they went 3-10. Of course, it was a truncated season because of COVID, but their first winning season in a while. They had 3 consecutive winning seasons. First year as a franchise was 2015, but then from 2017 through 19, they had a winning season, and then of course last year things kind of fell apart a bit, and they decided to have a kind of a youth movement going into this season, and that might explain the slow start a little bit as well.
It's been one of the main storylines for Real Monarchs on this season, as in the early going they feature 3 of the youngest signees in club history. In January, they signed Jeff Dusnup, who was just 16-year-old at the time. He played 3 early games here for Real Monarchs, gave them kind of a shot in the arm, and he's been a spectacular under-17 performer. You see Adrian Veta picks up the yellow card there in the 78th minute. 3rd yellow card against the Toros here.
Yeah, 3 yellows tonight. That's a bit unusual there. The ball played into the area, and it forces Derek to come out, and Derek upended, and he might be hurt. It's kind of an odd situation there, and now the team's in a little bit of a scuffle there, as the Toros didn't like that.
And this is a tough spot. There's a lot of emotion out there on the field, and Tyler Derek looks like he's in quite a bit of pain. His teammates kind of stepping up big there, trying to help their teammate out. Chang is refusing to leave the field right now, as several players out here for the Toros and Real Monarchs getting included in the mix. Take a look at Derek, though. He got a really tough angle on that, as he got to the ball first, picked it up. So at that point, he's kind of a defenseless player. He's picked up the ball.
This is Sobawali, by the way, that's coming in there hard.
Cuts his legs right out from under him.
Yeah, looks like Sobawali was trying to make an attempt on the ball, but yes, his legs did collide with Derek as he had left his feet and flipped him over. And we saw that shot of Cabrera a moment ago. He was, you saw him talking. He was talking to the 4th official. Usually that's who coaches will complain to, is the referee being too far away from them. Thompson hasn't been afraid to use the yellow card tonight. We've seen it raised 3 times against the Toros. This one was probably a little borderline. I don't think Sobawali trying to do anything malicious, but certainly, my goodness.
It looks like Derek may have been cleated, actually, because that's a pretty good gash right there above his right knee. I think you can see.
Yeah, it's hard to get a cut like that, without the cleat.
And see coming in right now, Derek does get there first. As his hand's on the ball. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Sobawali, as he's trying to get his foot up to challenge that ball, he just raked those cleats right down that right knee.
Congratulations.
And then the contact just kind of flipped Derek over as he went down. That's tough. It looked like you saw 2, maybe even 3 decent little gashes there above Derek's right knee. Give some credit to these officials. Did a really nice job of diffusing what looked like a really tense situation there for a moment.
You see Sobawali out of Ireland just came onto the pitch a few moments ago. He's trying there to be aggressively get the game-tying goal for his club. And Thompson right now, the referee, on the opposite side of the field, talking to now it's 2, but it was 3 of the Monarchs players.
Now the real question becomes is, what does that do to the mobility of Tyler Derek in goal? Because you saw.
I'm wondering, was that a red card? But Sobawali is walking off the pitch. He's going into the locker room. There may have been a red card because We saw Thompson, the referee, talking with 3 different Monarchs players who may have been protesting something like that. And Sobowale walking off to the opposite end of the field from Coach Olove there, and has now gone into the locker room.
Yeah, so they're going to play, it's like Real Monarchs is going to play a man down now for the next, presumably 9+ minutes when they add stoppage time.
Yeah, I saw you counting. Are there 10 players
10
out there
players
right
on
now?
right now in the white kits, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so no substitute came on. And if there was a sub, I mean, Sobowale would not go out to the locker room unless he was hurt. He would come onto the sideline that you're seeing right there. That indeed may have been what happened out there. And now we've got another Toros player upended. This is going to be a free kick here for the Toros. Right there on the left flank.
That was Jay. So Jay coming in. That one's cleared out very deftly.
That was Holt.
Holt done a nice job defensively all game. Cleared that ahead first.
Yeah, Holt was part of the defense that helped get that shutout for Putna back on Wednesday night.
That's a confirmation we just received from the stat crew. That was a red card issued to Sobowale.
That was a straight red as well.
That's one thing you always have to keep in mind when you're that attacking forward. Anytime the keeper is going to beat you to the ball, you've got to pull up and try to come around. If you bring contact directly to them, especially in the case there of Tyler Derrick, where he got there with plenty of time ahead of that ball, when you take his legs out from under him, you're going to draw a card. And unfortunately for a attacking forward, when you draw a card in that spot, it tends to be red.
Yeah, I think you're right. As we saw Josue Soto come onto the pitch for the Toros. James Murphy coming off after a terrific game in midfield tonight. This is Jay with it against 2 markers. Goes down, the ball trickles out, and this will be a goal kick. Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there, Brian. Because I didn't think it was on purpose, but maybe because it was reckless. That, like you said, once the keeper has it, or you know the keeper's going to beat you to it, you have to pull back. You cannot just carry through with your attempt there on the ball, and that's what Sobowale did, and that's maybe why he got the red.
And add to that the fact that Tyler Derrick was in the air when he made that catch too, so he's essentially defenseless at that point. He doesn't have control of where he's going to land, especially if you add contact.
Yeah, and the rules of the game, the laws of the game are very sympathetic toward the keepers in those kind of physical confrontations. Almost every time there is some kind of collision, officials will call a foul on the attacking team. And a harsh foul like that can result in a red card. This will be a throw in here for the Monarchs. It's Adams up to midfield. In the 85th minute now. And Monarchs looking to tie this game up. Only have 1 win this season with a couple of draws with 3 losses. And I'm sure they entered tonight hoping to maybe possibly, if they could get a result, really start building some momentum for their team.
And it seemed like this could be one of the matches where they could really kind of gather that momentum. So they were looking to pick up their first set of back-to-back wins in almost a year. Last time they had back-to-back wins was back in the 2020 season.
Yeah, September, I believe. This ball sent forward, but it's going to be too far ahead for Douglas Martinez. And that'll be a goal kick here for the Toros. And we saw a nice move, by the way, a couple moments ago by Pimentel to kick the ball away from Martinez. And then Derrick was able to send the ball clear.
We talked about the success that the Toros have had at home, and that carries across just about their entire history as a program. This is their 6th season. They're 31, 21, and 23 all time at home. So this has not been an easy place for opponents to win.
Yeah, 10 games over 500 historically. Monarchs trying to build something here. Approaching the 87th minute now. 1-0, Juan Kuzain with the goal. That is the difference right now. That was back in the 60th minute. Picked the pocket of the defender and sent one past the goalkeeper for his 2nd goal of the season. 4 minutes and change remaining. Toros on the attack right now. Ball sent forward by the new player, Josue Soto, the midfielder who just came on. Utna forced to clear this quickly as Amo was closing in. Veta heads that one. Toros with control here. Now this is Jay with it. Tries the inside, tried the outside. Good defending there as the Toros forced to play it back. There's Cerritos. Cerritos with a nice move. Now gets it to Amo. Amo will clear it up. Right side, a shot is deflected and out. That was Lopez who was loading the cannon there for a big shot. Butna had come way out to try to close the angle. And a defender there. We'll see who it is on the replay. Was able to get a nice touch on this. It was a good move by Amo when he realized it was behind him. Found an open man.
It's Kyle Adams, a former Toro, coming up big through that contact and fighting his way over. There's another true fit corner coming for the Toros.
It's 11 v 10. Sobowale getting a red card here. And the Toros with the extra man and the lead. Here's the corner. And it's headed by Amo, but it's going to be wide.
Look at Putna quick to grab that one and get it back in play. You love that effort. As though the last couple of minutes have not really gone in the favor of Real Monarchs. You got to love that intensity. You're only down 1 goal. Anything can happen. You got to continue fighting.
It's Adams with it. And it's sent forward by the Monarchs. That's a Chang who'll chest it over to Douglas Martinez. Return to Chang on the flank. And he'll send it into the area. There's a nice cross there, but just no one there for the Monarchs. It's like everyone hesitated. And really, I think if somebody had moved forward to try to make a play on that ball, they might have gotten something.
You got to think this is a good spot where you want to test Tyler Derrick. So you know he's got a little injury to that right knee. He's got some scratches. You don't know what his mobility is going to be like. If you test him, you may find yourself in a good spot to sneak something past him.
So a new player on there, that's Brian Gomez, a midfielder, 21 years old, out of Medellin, Colombia. Onto the field here. Not sure, we should get a little bit of stoppage time, as there have been a couple injuries, been several subs here in the second half. Probably about 4 minutes. In the 89th minute now, as it's ahead to Jay, and Jay with a lot of space to work with here. Adams closing in, Jay sends it inside, and it's clipped outside. The defender for the Monarchs got a piece of it as Amo was closing in. Trying to get it ahead to Chang. Chang's going to, or rather Martinez is able to win the ball after it went out of play. Toros will send it upfield. We're in the 90th minute now. Toros trying to stay unbeaten at home this year. They're 3-0. Picked up a perfect 9 points, trying to make it 12 that they picked up at home. Martinez sends it inside. That's controlled here by Gomez. Manley kicks that away. And now we're going to have a whistle. I think Manley committed a foul. It looks like Ilioski is the one who picked it up, and this will be a free kick here for the Monarchs.
It looked like as Manley was coming around Ilioski, there was some contact, either wrist or forearm, kind of raked past the face as he was spinning around. Get a quick restart right here for Real Monarchs.
You were mentioning the injury to Derrick and how much that's maybe slowing him down. I have noticed that he's not taking the goal kicks now since the injury. So his mobility has probably been affected. Toros will go with, looks going to put 3 in the wall. It's put in play here by the Monarchs and headed out by the Toros. This is Jay on it. Jay with fresh legs will send it forward, and streaking onto that is Sanchez. Cinte Sanchez will send this into the area, and Putna comes after it. Can't quite get it. Amo races onto it. Toros with a chance here. He's going to lob it up for Sanchez. Headed back toward the middle, and now cleared out by the Monarchs.
You know, Sanchez and Amo seem to just really understand each other. Every time those two are on the pitch together, it seems like they're making something spectacular develop offensively. You saw it there. Amo put that maybe about 6 inches too high for Sanchez to get a really good head on it, but Those two have a spectacular feel for each other out there on the pitch.
Yeah, Sanchez only 5'7". Not always able to get those headers. By the way, we're a minute and a half in the stoppage time. 4 minutes added on. And now the Toros more interested in playing keep away at this point. Here's Vera with plenty of space. We'll just wait till the markers come after him and then pass it off. And now it goes back to the back line. Pimentel with it. Well, he's going to send it back to his keeper. I was going to say he probably doesn't want to do that, because that forces the keeper, Derek, to use his bad leg to send it out. And now we've got a stoppage. This is Morgan shaken up just a bit. And I think they're going to call a drop ball here.
It's like Morgan and Sanchez got a little wrapped up. I don't think either one saw each other. They were both kind of attacking from opposite positions and collided.
Yeah, so no foul there. This will be a drop ball. And it goes to the Monarchs with control here. In the 3rd minute of stoppage, about 90 seconds to go. Ilyaski with it. He's upended. And the Toros have it back. And now they're going to call a whistle here. And the Monarchs will have another good opportunity here in the dying stages of stoppage time. It'll be the 9th foul on the Toros here in this game. I think Olave likes what he sees there. Probably senses this is going to be the last chance. Their keeper Putna coming all the way up to midfield right now.
It's a really good spot, and you see Jay just kind of gets wrapped up with Ilyaski there. That's a good call.
Be 3 men in the wall for the Toros. And here's the kick. We're going to lob it into the area. It's headed out. And the Toros on the attack now. This is Sanchez. He's got some numbers, able to fight his way through the marker. They've got 5 on 3. Soto will send it over to the right side of the area. Headed into Amo. Amo almost got to it, but Powder able to clear it. And now we've got a whistle. There's going to be a yellow card. I see it in the hands of Thompson. I think this might be against the Toros.
There's a lot of contact. You see Amo's on the ground. Trying to catch a feel for who that was for y'all Monarchs that found themselves on the ground as well. Looks like Noah Powder.
See on the replay here is Soto sent it into the area, headed by Vera, I believe, and that Amo just kind of cutting out the legs of Powder. I think Amo may have picked up the yellow there. That'll be the 4th of the game. Put in play by Putnam. This will probably be the last chance. We're already through 4.5 minutes of stoppage time. Jay will play this forward. Nice little move there. And they're going to try to move it into the area. Nice to the middle. And a touch there by Ahmad is blocked in front. It'll go out for a corner. I think Cerritos had a nice move there to pass the ball over to, that's Cerritos. That's it over to Jay, missed it, but then Amo had it and had it blocked in front by both Morgan and Adams.
It's a nice job defensively, because you know that Amo's got the ability to score when he wants to with that hat trick last time out.
And the game now over. The Toros won't need to take their corner kick. It's over, and the Toros have won it over the SLC Real Monarchs 1-0. Grand Cousin with the game winner came in the 60th minute. And that proves the difference as the Toros stay unbeaten at home to improve to 4-0 at HEB Park, and they are 5-1-1 overall and have now 16 points to lead the Mountain Division. We're going to take a break, be back with the second half stats and highlights in just a moment. This is USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. We got 3 chicken strips topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese. The combination is just right.
It's crunchy and then it's spicy and then it's cool. Your mouth is exploding with flavor.
It just all works together, and then you add the cheese in there.
It kind of wakes me up, honestly. My goodness. I can see myself eating this every time I come here.
They're gonna go crazy for this thing. The Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. It's back, and it's only for a limited time.
And we're back here at HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas. Mark May with Brian Smith. The Toros win it 1-0 on the strength of an opportunistic goal, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, Juan Kuzain comes up big for the lone goal in this one, and perhaps one of the craftiest goals you're going to see on the year. It comes from that attacking position on a kind of a lackadaisical move with the ball there on the back line. Picks up that huge goal and got a little dirt on his shorts, but he earned it the hard way, picking up that big goal.
Kuzain getting some congratulations there from teammate Jay and assistant coach Echeverry, scoring his 2nd goal on the season. We'll see the highlights in just a moment. Toros with a real good, sitting in a real good situation now. Well, let's take a look at the highlights first. Here's the goal.
This is the big one here. Juan Kuzain saying, look at this. Whoop. Finds the back of the net. Just a great job being that attacking forward, seeing that the opposition Real Monarchs was not moving with purpose. Comes in big, takes that away. Gives himself his 2nd goal of the year, and one of the most beautiful goals you're going to see right there. And here's another look at a really contentious moment right here as Timmy Sobowale and Tyler Derrick come into contact in the closing minutes. That led to a red card that had Sobowale out. Coming back down the other direction is a really good look at Vicente Sanchez applying some pressure through contact, keeps the possession going. See the Real Monarchs defense trying to track that down. That's been the story for the whole game for the Toros. Did a really nice job of being aggressive and setting up good attacks.
There's an incredible poise by Sanchez on that run. They were just throwing everything at him from all directions, and he just kept the play alive. But before we go, the Toros looking good as we take a look at their schedule. They've got 3 of the next 4 at home.
That's a great opportunity for them to make a big move, right, Mark?
Indeed it is, and the next home game will be June 16th. That'll be on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, against the Austin Bold right here at HEB Park. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff, and then they have 2 more home games against Tulsa and El Paso before the month is out. And for the Monarchs, they'll be returning home on Friday. They'll take on El Paso Locomotive, the #1 ranked team in the league right now. That'll be 8 o'clock Utah time when they kick that one off at Zions Bank Park. As we take one last look here at the schedule.
The Austin Bold, San Antonio FC, Tulsa FC, those are all at home. Then they hit the road, as you said, El Paso and Austin, leading on themselves out to July, the 10th.
And then taking a look at the Monarchs schedule, we mentioned they're returning home to El Paso. That will be a home game. The game against the Sounders will be on the road. Then the next 2 are at home for them, San Antonio and New Mexico United. They'll be at Colorado. So a chance for them to get something going here as well. I think, as a team, they played within themselves tonight. They did have the one mistake that led to the goal, improved the difference in the game. They're a young team. They'll learn from that. But I think the Monarchs are starting to build a little bit of momentum here, coming off a win and a solid game that they played here tonight. And for the Toros, they just keep on trucking. Now 5 wins, a loss, and a draw. And again, they move up to 16 points, first place in the Mountain Division, and they're ranked #4 in the league. They're having a terrific year so far, still a long way to go. But that will do it. I'm Mark May for Brian Smith from HEB Park, where the Toros emerge with a 1-0 victory. So long from Edinburgh, Texas. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.